I always believed in the forces that prepare for uneventualities. I never expected. I thought I'll be somewhere here and I'm here. But I think this is a better vantage position to see everyone and talk to you. So opportunities, make use of opportunities. So there's a very pertinent thing is on brands and brand building. And at the first, I would like to firstly, it's a very elaborate audience and very distinguished speakers that we have here. First and foremost, I'd like to say that brand building is a science. I don't think anyone will disagree with me. Brand building is nothing but a science. It is an art, something that is evidence-based. And this evidence-based is something that I've not seen in many of the marketing pitches that I generally see in the world. Nothing is evidence-based. If there is no position, there can be no positioning without something that you have metrics on. So, I had the privilege of last few minutes, I was on the mobile phone and looking at the distinguished careers of the panelists here. So, I'd like to take first opportunity to ma'am, Dr. Satya. So in the medico-pharma industry, a lot has happened. We talked about COVID vaccines. We talked about many vaccine makers who said that they were making the right kind of vaccine. We heard a lot of things in the media. And there were many brands which became super brands overnight. What do you first salvo is, what do you feel is ethical and moral-based and evidence-based something we need to do at the core fundamental ethos of brand building and positioning?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks a lot for the question, but I think my answer may not be something which is going to be what you're expecting from me, but what I'm going to tell you is something else. Anyway, good afternoon. I'm Mrs. Satya Vadlamani, and I'm the Chairperson Managing Director of Murali Krishna Pharma. A vaccine, on an average, takes nothing short of 7 to 8 years to reach the world. You do not get vaccines out so fast. I think, putting the ethics, the morality, and everything else on one side, you should understand the situation that the world was in. People were dying like flies across the world. We had no idea what was hitting us. And you had this set of dedicated people who worked day and night to bring something out within the shortest possible time and give it out. They did not think about the brand. They did not think about anything else. They did not even realize they would become the biggest brand leaders. They knew if they did, they might be lauded, but if they failed, they could be persecuted for life. So they were in a situation where I don't think any of us would like to be in that space. So my first answer to that part of yours regarding vaccines and brand building, I at least do not think the Indian vaccines were made with an idea of building a brand. They were made with an idea to save lives. So that is my first thing. Second question that comes on is that was the first time in the world that the industries, especially the pharmaceutical industry, which is highly diverse and which comes with a lot of questions on patents, on regulations, on all kinds of things, got together as a single unit to try and save the lives of the people. So I think we should appreciate that part of it from the industry. The industry did not look for personal profit or gain at that time.
Okay.
So that's my answer on that. Yes, brand building is necessary. Brand building comes from ethics. Brand building comes from a lot of things. When any company thinks beyond the profit books or thinks beyond the balance sheets, it definitely delivers a brand. And it's all about how do you communicate with the people? What is the story you're putting across and how authentic is your story? So while brand building is storytelling, it's also storytelling with an absolute idea about what is it you're trying to convey and how good is the consumer and how convinced is the consumer about how strong the brand is.
I think that was well handled.
Thank you.
Mr. Gurpreet, I think we'll come to you. You know, the UB industry, 24 years. After that, you've been in the world of brands. I believe is consumer tech, fintech, and you've been basically much in the bev industry. We all know it's synonymous that advertising, now we cannot do that in the common forums. Now you cannot advertise for beer. Companies do pseudo advertising, they do for water or sparkled soda. How difficult was it, especially you spent 25 plus years in the industry, how difficult has been for positioning, especially in the alco-bev industry? What do you feel, your personal experience, and what do you think we are going to go for in the near future?
I see we have moved from one medicine to another. Yes, the alcohol industry is, guided by a lot of governance, and therefore it becomes complicated, not just to run the business, but also to advertise and create clear brand positioning statements. But there are ways around it, and I think as an organization where I used to work earlier, we did that quite effectively. We used a combination of sponsorship programs, advertising through brand extensions, a lot of consumer connect on ground where people get to experience your brand and take back memories from the event. A combination of these, I think, helped us build some very strong brand portfolios and brand positioning statements. But I'm going to come to the brand positioning part of the conversation a little bit more, and we can dive into the alcohol challenges. A lot of people tend to think that the brand positioning statement or brand positioning ideas come once you've got the product and the brand, and how do I communicate this best to win the consumer's heart? I'm actually going to roll it back a bit more. As an organization, if we have clarity to what your brand positioning statement is as an organization, it'll help you build your products and services with the USP that you need to become a challenger brand or becoming a niche brand in any category that you get into. Once you've done that, then comes what we are more, we talk about more often in terms of what are the positioning statements we need to make, what is the brand communication strategies we need to make. I think it's best to take and understand, firstly, build a brand which has a USP of its own. Second, having got the USP, you need to hammer home and communicate that USP and communicate it consistently. Because without that, you're just a me too, you're a follower, and then it comes down to who gives more trade discounts, who spends more marketing money, and that's just a bleeding proposition for any brand builder. Once you've got these initial building blocks in place, you do this advertising strategy, this communication strategy of what your USP is consistently, and over a period of time, you build trust with the consumer, and you build a relationship with the consumer. To me, the height of building that trust and relationship with the consumer is when the consumer himself becomes an advocate for your brand. Because when he promotes or communicates the brand to his friend circle, his larger social circle, he's putting at stake his own personality and his own credibility on the table. And that's believed much better than any advertising strategy of any communication could do. And that's how you build long-term relationships. That's how you build meaningful partnerships. Once you've done this, you can charge a premium, and you build long-term relationships with the consumers, and therefore a brand and a business for yourself.
Excellent, I think well handled, powerful words. Dr. Sanjay, let's come to you in Stratadine, and I heard you speak just now, you were in the Middle East. I did have a look at what Stratadine does, excellent work. How important has it been, innovation? How important is innovation to building a powerful brand? Can a brand be built without innovation?
Yeah, thank you. So first of all, let me tell a little bit about our company. This is a company not from 20th or 19th. It's a company started in 1876. So to sustain the company for 140 years means we live by the brand, Stratadine. So the first and foremost activity what we do is the preservance of the brand. How to preserve the brand, how to continue the brand, and how to create additional geographic locations for the brand. So we operate in many countries worldwide. So the brand, how to establish a brand, how to increase its brand value has different propositions in different countries because customer aspirations and other criteria, the needs are different for different countries. But for and foremost, there are three things which we feel. One is the brand has to be absolutely trustworthy. If the brand is not trustworthy, then you will lose the reputation very fast globally. So trustworthy means the customer whichever country you operate in, the customer aspirations have to be met, and the customers should feel that they can trust on this brand. So many customers invest huge amount of money on their vehicles, tractors, gensets, construction equipment. So even though the fuel injection system is a small part, but it is central to the operation of the vehicle or the machinery. So if the fuel injection system fails, then obviously, that rest of the machine is of no use. So the trustworthiness that this brand, this component product will last 30, 35 years, 40 years is first and foremost. Second is that the trust with the government agencies, because our field is highly regulated. So we have to meet emission standards, performance standards, and these are different in different locations in the world.
Okay.
So the government has to also have a trust that this product will meet or continue to meet the emission standards during the operations of the vehicle.
Got it.
And
That's
third
it.
one is, the demand and needs keep on changing. So that's where the innovation plays a very central role. So the products have to keep on evolving. Of course, there are some compulsions for our industry because emission laws keep on changing. The performance parameters keep on changing. But at the same time, we keep on innovating how to come with a better product for the customer and within the stipulated cost factor.
Got it.
Innovation plays a very central part for this
It
product.
plays an important part. Got that. I think we're running short of time. I'll have a quick word from the remaining two gentlemen. Saitej, you've been into Coinoway and crypto and blockchain. How important has brand building been for this industry, which people look always with some suspicion?
Hi, I think I introduced myself already, so I'll not waste the time. And a lot of people here are very seniors to me, and I think few of your experience is bigger than my age. So I'll try to keep it very simple. I'll come to your question with a small story. Okay, I'm just telling about out of my experience, not from.
If you can, within 2 minutes, because we're already short of
I
time.
will try. I'll try for that. See, usually whatever we build, we see it in a manner like, for example, you wanted to do anything, any company, let it for that matter, they do anything, any kind of marketing to bring the people, to bring the customers back. I mean, customers into the company. That's what marketing companies does. That's what your social media does, and any other marketing activity does. But when it comes to reputation, when the customer is coming back again, that's what I feel for me the branding is. With my own experience, I'm telling all this. So for me, the reputation of a customer is more important. That is what branding for me. And when it comes to crypto industry, because yes, a lot of people are skeptical because they don't know what to trust. There is no fundamental value. Like for example, today the top 8 token in the coin market cap, which is a Doji coin, it's just a meme coin. It's not backed by anything. See, but I can tell you, I can agree with him that it's all about a community.
Got it.
The customer. You have a strong customer, strong community, you forget it, they'll take it forward. I see
yeah.
Personally, they're the ones who is selling. It's not a company, it's not your ad on Facebook, it's not your maybe your advertisement on big television shows. It's your community. We call it as a tribes, a small set of people
Got it.
that can go into a big communities. And example, a Dogecoin has a few million people who backs it, who fights for it.
Got it.
And the Bitcoin has similarly.
Got it.
So it's all about
Okay,
the community.
perfect. Good perspective. Let's come to the last gentleman. Please introduce yourself, and in about 2 minutes, could you just say something on how important is your perspective and what the industry, what do you feel from these doyens sitting here?
So hi, I'm from consulting background, and hearing all these gentlemen, they all have given you guys enough perspective about brand. Being a consulting company, I would say, focus on your product and your service. The brand will automatically be there, right? When you are a startup, you have no brand, right? So how do you create a brand? And then you are a branded company and you're giving a very bad product out there, very bad service out there, you're not gonna sustain. I think the focus should be constantly, like you mentioned, innovation towards your product, and make sure you are servicing the customer the right way, right? A lot many times we hear, oh, I'm going to wait for the customer, rather than we should be proactive in learning what the customer behavior is, right? You see iPhone, right? When iPhone is launching, they are constantly thinking through, right, what the customer is looking for. And they bring the problem statement to the customer before the customer can think of, right? Imagine from iPhone 10 to iPhone 14, there are 3 more cameras, right? Did any customer go in and say, I need more cameras? But they realize that, hey, this is a product that we can enhance, innovate, and give it out there. So I think for us, building a strong brand, companies should focus more towards the product and services. The brand will automatically then become. Now, when you
Got
become a
that.
brand, you should then sustain, right?
Got that. It's good. I think you gave a good perspective. Gentlemen, we are totally out of time. But I'm glad all of you could give your perspective over whatever you've got over the last 2-3 decades. We'll meet in some other forum, some other place, some other time. But for now, alvida.